whatever you prefer, and it is Tuesday, which means it's time for our weekly episode of Am I the Bad Apple? If you've never joined us for the series before, people send us in stories of situations where they're not sure if they acted appropriately or not, and we tell them what we think. Sometimes you guys agree with me, sometimes you don't, but that's the beauty of it, right? Everyone has their own opinion, there's lots of different perspectives, and the OPs, or the original posters, are really able to look through a lot of different opinions and get kind of a perspective of it. I'll put a little sticker for the playlist somewhere. Before we get started, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the little bell down at the bottom so that you can be notified whenever I post any of our videos. And wow, I cannot believe we're already on episode 6. Nothing means more to me than the fact that you guys love this series. So, let's go ahead and get started. Story number 1. Am I the bad apple for rewarding my daughter for getting all A's on her exam? Why would that be a bad thing? My younger daughter, 12 female, has ADHD inattentive type. She isn't the bouncing off the wall stereotype, rather, most of her struggles go on in her head. She finds it extremely difficult to focus on schoolwork, she zones out frequently, etc., etc. Recently, she had an exam and managed to score an A for every subject. This was the first time she achieved this, so my husband and I were very proud. We brought her to dinner and we got her a bicycle, something she's wanted for a while. My older daughter, 15 female, was upset at our favoritism. She says she's always been a straight A student, but we never shower her with praise like we did her little sister. I tried to explain to her that her sister faced difficulties that she's never had to deal with, and I asked her to be more understanding. Plus, I also reminded her that we always brought her out for a nice and expensive dinner whenever she came back with her good grades. We got in a bit of an argument, and she kept bringing up the bicycle, even though I repeatedly stated that it was a perfectly reasonable reward. Things have been tense between us. My husband agrees with me, but my mother tells me I'm playing favorites, which I really don't think I was or am. It's also worth mentioning that the difference in the way I treat my daughters is that I'm actually more strict with my youngest, because she needs more prompting to start and finish tasks. So, am I the bad apple? No, you're playing favorites. For starters, I have ADHD, and nothing makes me more frustrated than when people act like ADHD, keeps me from doing normal everyday things. Yeah, I get distracted a lot. I have trouble focusing, but that doesn't mean I'm not able to do, regular everyday things. I have people in my inboxes that genuinely ask me, oh, I have ADHD, how will that keep me from being a teacher? It won't. It doesn't keep you from doing regular everyday things. It just means you need a little help focusing. That's it. That's literally it. Back to, this story, this mom is definitely playing favorites. At least in my opinion. If you're gonna make it a thing that whenever kids bring home good grades, you're gonna get them a reward, like a bicycle, it needs to be the same across the board. My brother does not have ADHD. And my brother, I joke all the time that he's a smart one, okay? We're both intelligent, but my brother, he literally programs robots. He's very intelligent, okay? But I know he would be just as devastated if I were to come home with straight A's and get, some big reward and he programs a robot and it's no big deal. No, that's not how that works. If good grades are rewarded, then good grades are rewarded. Okay, maybe you can't afford to get a big, expensive thing whenever your other daughter does something great. Okay, then small gifts. Or no gifts. That's perfectly fine as well. But if you're gonna get a gift for one kid when they do something and not the other, no, that is unfair. And I know there's gonna be some people in the comments that are like, oh, but she has a learning disability. I have ADHD, okay? ADHD is not something where it's oh yeah, it definitely makes sense to get one kid a gift and the other not. And of course your husband's gonna agree with you. He's doing it too. Yeah, the person not in the moment doing the things is gonna say, yeah, no, that's favoritism, because it is. You're treating your kids unequal. If they're gonna get a reward for completing a task, they both need to get a reward. You don't have to get the girl a bike, but she's clearly upset about the bike. I don't understand how that's not registering with you. Bad apple. That's my vote. Story 2. Am I the bad apple for proving that my teachers have double standards? Prejudgments? I don't think so. Having unfair rules at school? Favoritism? With siblings, that's not cool. In my school, we're allowed to listen to music from our headphones with the exceptions of tests and exams, and if you're not distracting others and pay attention to what the teacher's saying. My classmate Connor tends to listen to music from his earphones. He doesn't pay much attention in class, and his music is usually so loud that people on the other side of the room clearly hear his music. For a while now, I've noticed that barely any teachers actually call him out for it, as other students would have gotten one heck of a negative remark by now. I even asked him about it, and he said he was surprised too at first, but he's pretty confident the teachers won't call him out. This kind of annoyed me, since I've gotten remarks for sitting on my phone many times, even though I'm usually just checking the time. So yesterday, I decided to test if my English teacher would do anything if I listen to music just like Connor does. Mostly because I know she has a zero tolerance for non-work related things in class. About halfway through the class, I glanced towards Connor, who's sitting 3 seats in front of me. As usual, he's listening to Eminem, both earbuds in his ears, and the volume so loud that I can clearly hear the lyrics. I pulled out my earbuds, put one bud in my ear, and set the volume to a couple clicks below maximum and hit play on Panama by Van Halen. The song was only through the first couple of notes when the teacher started yelling at me for listening to music. Meanwhile, Chris didn't even flinch. He just kept slightly bobbing his head to the beat. I apologized to the teacher for my action, paused for a second, and then asked why Chris was allowed to listen to music when everyone else isn't. She ignored my question and told me to be silent or she'll be forced to remove me from class. I apologized again, but persisted with my question. She then told me to leave class. I couldn't be bothered to deal with it anymore, so I packed my things and left. As it was my last class of the day, I just went home and didn't think much of it. Fast forward to today, I get to school and some kids who were in the same class when the argument happened walked up to me and started talking about how I acted like a jerk towards Connor and the teacher. Apparently, most of the class thinks that way. Connor doesn't even care, it's just everyone else, including the teachers that care. Even my class head teacher came to talk to me about it. Fortunately, he's a good person and listened to my side of the story as well. He said that in the teacher's lounge, some teachers had discussed the situation and came to the conclusion that I was in the wrong. I asked him what side he was on, and he just said he doesn't have any. So many people think I'm bullying and targeting an innocent student, while others have no opinion at all. However, no one seems to be fully on my side, so am I the bad apple? This is a really great example of a story where I know there's a lot of information missing. Whether it's on purpose that the kid just doesn't want to say and is hoping people are on his side, or whether it's unintentional because there's information that he isn't aware of that he can't share. For not a single student in his class to be like, oh yeah, you're right, tells me there's a lot of information missing here. Like maybe this kid wasn't as polite or even calm as he insinuated in the submission. Maybe Connor does care and he just can't get it through his brain. Maybe Connor has a learning disability. Maybe he's got some stuff going on at home that the teachers are aware of and the kids may or may not be privy to. And that's why he's allowed to sit and listen to music. You don't know if this kid is hard of hearing and that's why the music has to be loud for him to hear it. You don't know if there's some stuff going on at home and the teachers are cutting him some slack. You as another student are not privy to that information. If it's a medical thing, legally teachers cannot explain it to you. It is confidential. You're not privy to that information. And just because you ask Connor about it doesn't mean he's going to share that information with you. But it's clearly to the point that everyone else in the room understand there's something going on. And that's why no one is on your side. When it comes to classroom management, something that a lot of people don't understand is that equity is not equality. Some kids have different needs, some kids have things going on, some kids do get different treatment. And it's all about what they need at the time, whether it be for personal things they have going on in their lives or medical situations that they have going on. All things that are none of your business. So even though we clearly do not have all of the information, based on how everyone else in the story have reacted, right? The teachers all deciding that you are in the wrong, your classmates. If all the students are on the teacher's side and not the student's side, you know that student's in the wrong. You know there's something going on that this kid just can't wrap his brain around. And even with the department head or class head, I don't know what you guys call it there, for him to be like, yeah, I totally see why you're upset, but I'm not on a side. I'm not on your side, even though I see why you're upset. That tells me there's some confidentiality things that he can't just be like, hey kid, this is why Connor's allowed to do it. That tells me everything I need to know. Kid, sorry, bad apple. That's my vote. That's my vote. It is what it is. Situation number 3. Story number 3. Did we ever decide on a name? I don't know. I don't know if we did. Am I the bad apple for telling my classmate she smells bad? This is another prejudgment where I say, yeah, that sounds rude. It does. I study in a small university, and the university doesn't have big rooms. It has class-sized rooms, and they divide students into small groups, and our group is made up of 8. I joined a group where we have a girl, let's call her Jessica, that has a very bad and weird smell. I've been in her group for 3 years now. The smell is the type you just can't get used to. Also, many teachers keep giving us looks because our class smells. The teacher doesn't know who the smell is coming from, so they just think it's the entire class. None of the teachers say anything, they just give us all weird looks. Jessica's ex-roommate is my friend, so I asked her about Jessica's smell to see if it's a medical condition. She says no, Jessica just never showers, never washes her clothes, so it's safe to say it's just a hygiene problem. Last week we had our classes as usual, but in one class we had a substitute teacher. She's an old, angry woman, and it's the first time we've ever had her in our class. The sub entered the room, and after 15 minutes she started flipping out, asking us where that smell is coming from. We stood there silently for a moment because all of us knew where it was coming from, but we didn't want to hurt Jessica's feelings. The teacher then started shouting at how important it is for us to have good hygiene and kept teaching us how to take a shower. It was really humiliating for all of us, except Jessica was just kind of laughing at it. One of the girls in our class sent us all a group text saying, hey, we know where the smell is coming from. Let's just please make sure we all take a shower from now on. Everyone in the group kept responding back with, agreed, definitely, we need to do this. The whole group except for Jessica. After class, Jessica came up to me and said she wanted to talk about something. She asked, were they talking about me in the group message? I told her, yeah, we were, and that she has a hygiene problem that she really needs to fix, not only for us, but for her future. I delivered the message as nicely as I possibly could. Jessica then started crying and screaming at me about how I'm a jerk and how she's humiliated by all of us. She went home crying that day, and for the next 3 days, she didn't come to the university, and she wouldn't answer any calls from any of us. When she did come back, she kept giving us looks and wouldn't even talk to anybody. I can't stop feeling like a jerk because I hate seeing someone cry and so upset, but at the same time, I feel like she really needed to fix her hygiene problem for her future. So am I the bad apple? I'm gonna say it. I don't think she's the bad apple. Like, it's not like she went out of her way to make fun of this girl. It's not like the first time she was ever with her, she's like, wow, you smell bad. 3 years of saying nothing. She clearly wasn't trying to bully this kid. I know that for some people, especially in college when there's no parents around, hygiene can be a little bit of a problem for some people that are like free on their own, and I know that there's some people out there that like look at a deodorant can and are like, oh, good for 48 hours, cool, I'll put this on once for the next few days. That's not how that works. Please use deodorant every day. I think that if your hygiene is so bad that like the professors are like, what is that? What is going on? Like, if it's that noticeable in a classroom like that, I think instead of putting it in a group text of like, hey, we all know who smells bad, maybe we should all make sure we shower, like that, I don't agree with how that was handled. I think the girl who sent that text, if you were gonna say something, pull the girl to the side, don't do it in front of everyone. But that's not who we're talking about right now. We're talking about the girl that Jessica asked, hey, was that about me? I think she was put in kind of an awkward position. I don't think her saying, yes, it was, makes her the bad apple. I think she was being honest in a very uncomfortable situation. I think that she tried to be helpful. And I'm not, like, Jessica isn't a bad person either. Like, I feel bad for her, you know? There's no bad apples anywhere. That girl that sent the group text, she's a little sour, you know? But I don't think it was malicious, if that makes sense. Like, if these girls went 3 years just kind of letting her be, I don't think their intention was to bully her. So I'm gonna go no bad apples, just good apples. We got like one sour apple in that mix, but like OP, Jessica, there's some good apples, you know, in my opinion. Do you agree with me? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. You know I love to hear y'all's opinions. Okay, so as we're approaching this last story, I've been wrong about these prejudgments like the entire time. So let's see. Story number 4, last one. Am I the bad apple for telling my wife she had embarrassed me? Okay, prejudgment, I want to say yeah, but like I've been wrong about all of them so far. Like there's always some twist in the story. So now I'm concerned there's going to be a twist and I'm going to be wrong again. So maybe we'll err on the side of caution and think maybe it's like a communication thing. Woo, you're communicating with your wife. That's good. So maybe prejudgment, no? Okay, let's see. My wife is very shy, but enjoys giving and is all gung-ho about showing appreciation to workers she assumes aren't appreciated or recognized. She even tries to pass these beliefs onto our kids. Sometimes she silently shows her appreciation through gifts, usually baked goods. I've been so embarrassed about it in the past. Our oldest child rode the bus to school for the first time. My wife was waiting at the bus stop with our daughter and had our child hand the bus driver a bag of homemade cookies. Then, when she picked her up from the stop in the afternoon, she gave another bag to the afternoon driver. I asked her, why did you do that when she could have easily just said thank you and left it at that? She said, well, the drivers work hard to comfort all the nervous kids, and handling the misbehaving ones while driving, they deserve more than a thanks. I remind her that this very thing has embarrassed me numerous times in the past, and I think her behaviors are too extreme. I wouldn't want gifts from someone that I don't know. My wife completely disregarded how I felt. I contacted some people in my life to see if I was just the crazy one here, and most of my friends and my mom agree. My wife's way of showing thanks just makes everyone uncomfortable. So, am I the bad apple? What did I just read? Is this a prank? Are you punking me? What? Your wife is so kind and nice and appreciates those that aren't appreciated, and you're embarrassed that she's nice? Why did she marry you? My mom said I was right. Your mom sounds like an awful mother-in-law. I'm sorry. I'm not even sorry about it. Wow, your mom said that's embarrassing that your wife is nice to people. Does your wife want to give me some cookies? Because I love cookies. I'll happily take cookies from her. I hope to goodness that your kids take after their mom and not you. You are such a bad apple. Like, you might be one of the worst apples I have read about. Holy moly. Offended and embarrassed that your wife wants to give cookies to a bus driver. If it genuinely bothers you, like it somehow embarrasses you, it offends you, that your wife wants to make other people feel valued, that speaks volumes of your character. That's all. Bad apple. Like one of the worst bad apples. I know I've said that, but I'm just, wow. I cannot believe that's real. That's sad. Again, I hope that your kids take after your wife, not you. And I hope that you get the hug that you need. So, I was wrong about every single story. It's fine. We all have off days. It happens sometimes. What is that? 3 bad apples and 1 good apple? I think so. Looking back just to make sure. Yeah, 3 bad apples and 1 good one. I said last video, I was like, I think the bad apples are afraid to send me their stories. They were not afraid this week. So keep it going. I love sharing y'all's stories. I love that you guys love this series. I will keep doing it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree with me? 3 bad, 1 good. Do you not agree with me? Let me know. You know I love to read them. Before we go, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the little bell down at the bottom if you haven't already. I just pulled a piece of my hair. Maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. I don't know. It's okay. We're just having a weird day. I'm nervous because I'm helping my friend get engaged in like a few hours. I'm just very nervous about it. It's gonna be perfect. She's gonna be perfect. He's gonna do perfect. Like, we've been planning this for like a year. I'm very nervous. Today is the day. So I will have to make some little video on how that goes. So stay tuned for that too. As always, we will keep doing this series every single Tuesday. Make sure to send me your stories if you want me to include them. I do have now like a little vault of bad apple stories. So if I don't get to yours right away, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm not using it. It just means I do 4 every week, and I'm getting a lot more than 4 a week, which is good. I love getting them. Keep sending them to me. And keep sending me feedback. I love reading it in the comments. You know I do, but I'm going to stop rambling because I could ramble all day. I love you guys very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Mwah.